we have quite a bit to talk about. We are going to be talking about number one, communicating customer delivery status, the methods in which you can do this, the customer expectations out of messaging. We'll also be talking about our new integrated one-way SMS text messaging feature, as well as how to set up customer notifications to get yourselves ready for when SMS messaging is released for you. Also talk about how to not only join the feedback board, but how you can also help us test the SMS feature. We have a few resources we want to go over with you. And then of course, we're going to leave plenty of time at the end for general questions and answers, especially times when we're talking about new features. We want to make sure we're leaving plenty of time for you to ask general questions, because again, this is a workshop. This is about talking through anything that any questions you may have coming up, any strategies you wanted to bring up. All you have to do is use the GoToWebinar questions pane, and we'll be happy to take your questions. If we can answer them live, some questions are better suited to be answered live than others, because sometimes we have to dig in, but we're going to make sure we leave time at the end to do all of that as well. But okay, we do always want to start out though. Nicole, I believe you wanted to pass along a message to everyone on the session today about how we feel about them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you to all of you who have attended this call. You're our customers, and we truly appreciate the fact that you've chosen Route Manager for your routing and delivery needs. So a couple of things we just wanted to emphasize before we get started. Essentially you are our customers, but we consider ourselves an extension of your team as well. So everything that we do from a feature standpoint, from a product offering standpoint, we do it based on your needs. And every enhancement we do, we love your feedback. We love to hear what you want and have a pulse of what you're looking for so that we can enhance our product to be better suited for your needs. Also, WorkWave, we've been around for over 30 years. We're here for the long haul. No matter what adversity comes our way, we are definitely here fortified to support you and your team. We're an essential part of your business. Deliveries now more than ever is crucial to keep this country and the world essentially running. So the fact that Route Manager helps you facilitate that, we consider ourselves essential for your business. And I hope you agree. I think I speak on behalf of all of us. And finally, we really have been going through unprecedented times. However, we've been noticing that there's a lot of opportunity in the face of adversity. Some of the callers or some of the guests that we have, the attendees that we have on this call today are new. People who they never thought about doing delivery service for their businesses. And then they were agile. They made the decision to adjust and to be agile to essentially take on delivery and figure out, okay, I need a software, I need a tool to help me facilitate this so that I can still serve my customers. So that's very exciting, to us. Though it is, adverse times, we definitely see opportunity, and we've gotten a lot of new customers who joined the Route Manager family in the face of adversity, just to try to adapt to everything that has been going on. So again, we thank you for being on this call, and I'll pass it over to Mike.
Thank you very much, Deb. We always like having, especially right around these times, that message is especially important. We hope you all understand how true we believe all of those things to be. Now, we also want to, before we hop in, we wanted to get the juices flowing a little bit. We also want to find a little bit more from all of you with 2 poll questions. So the first one is, and you're going to see it right now, is what would be your preferred method of communication? Now, talking as a consumer, how do you want businesses to communicate with you? Obviously, we're here to talk about SMS, and Route Manager offers emails, but hey, you're just always interested in knowing where you're feeling is the other preferred ways you'd like to be communicated with. The options are SMS, so text messaging, emails, automated phone calls, or social networks, including Facebook Messenger and such. So I'm going to leave that open for just another minute or two. Responses are brisk, but want to make sure everyone gets a chance. You see it on your screen already. We're almost there. Nicole or Haley or Yasser, what would you say your preferred? Well, let's start with Nicole. Nicole, what would you say your preferred method of communication from a business is out of the options?
Well, I'm greedy because I like SMS and I like email. But if I had to choose one, I definitely would say SMS. I like to know real time what's going on.
Okay, Haley, what about you?
For me, it's definitely SMS. My emails are out of control and I can lose sight of an email in a heartbeat. But the SMS that comes through and those I can get to much quicker. It also just seems like a shorter way of communication to get the point across.
Yasser?
Most convenient way is definitely text for me. I'm one of those people that's always like, text me, text me, text me. So to me, SMS is definitely number one choice.
Excellent. I mean, for me, I might be the outlier. I'm definitely the outlier. I'm seeing the poll results. I am the outlier. I have a preference myself for customer help via Twitter. I don't know what it is. Number one, I think I just like the fact it's public. So any responses they give me, it's on the record. So I love it when someone offers assistance via Twitter for short things. If it's a long thing like my cable company, then I probably want to get a phone call or an email. But either way, okay. Let's do this. Looks like most of you have voted. So let's close that poll and let's share those results. The preferred methods of communication are SMS by a wide margin, which is, I mean, it's validating for us. We have to congratulate the research team on that one. But SMS, email, and calls at 12%. No one said social networks. That's why I said I'm an outlier on that one. But that's very cool, and that's very validating. SMS and email, which of course are the two we offer. So good.
Worked out.
Yeah, that's our product manager, Nolan and Marco are gonna wipe some sweat from the brow. All right, we're gonna ask one more. This one is a bit more specific for what we think would be for most of you. Now, some of you don't necessarily do deliveries, but most of you do. And then sometimes if you don't do delivery, then just insert service or so. But how many messages, email or SMS, or any kind, are appropriate to send on the day of delivery? 1 to 2 message, 0, so you probably don't like the topic of this conversation if you say 0. But then you've got 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 9, or 10 plus. How many are appropriate? And we'll do the same thing. Nicole, how many as a consumer would you like to? What's your maximum that you'd like to get, on a day of service or delivery?
I want 4. I don't want any more than that. Otherwise, I feel bombarded.
Fair enough. Haley?
For me, it's 2. I just need to know that it's out and it's on its way. And then I just want to know, okay, it's been dropped off. I'm good.
Okay. So just real quick, Yasser, before you go, Brian asked us in the questions, is it per customer or cumulative for all customers? This is per customer. So just you as a person, like how many what's your preference for how many you could get? Or would you tolerate, I guess it's the right word. All right, Yasser, how about you?
I'm somewhere between 1 to 2 and 3 to 4, but if I was really to pick, I would say 3 to 4.
Very nice. And then for me, I'm a 1 to 2 person. I don't like getting messages. So I like, again, I think maybe I'm an outlier. I like reaching out for an update. I don't necessarily like getting automated updates. I like being able to check when I want to. But again, that's just me, and you shouldn't take me as a sample for anything because, well, let's face it.
Outlier.
That was 3. That was an outlier. Like I am 25% of the presenters. So don't base anything around me. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's go. Let's close this one out. And we will share those results because again, those are fun.
Wow, look at that.
Wow, 1 to 2. So that is by far and away the winner. That's good. I like that. So certainly as we progress, and Haley can certainly talk a little bit through it in the setup today. It wasn't really part of the things we were going to talk about, but given the overwhelming amount of people who prefer 1 to 2, Haley, it might be good to talk about strategies for how to limit some of the communications that come from Route Manager, especially, if you're combining this with any other systems. Sound like a good idea?
Yes.
Perfect. And there's really one or two ways we can do that. So we'll talk about when we talk about setup, what kind of notifications do you want to send? Do you need this one or that one, that kind of thing. But great, this is great stuff. All right, cool. So in that case, let's head back over and let's talk a little bit. Yasser wanted to talk a little bit about how to communicate customer delivery status and some of why, of course, it's important. So Yasser, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. So improving the customer satisfaction, gaining competitive edge, listing some examples for you guys, obviously offering customers delivery and status transparency. That's the most important thing, taking the anxiety out of this, taking the guesswork out of this, not leaving your customers in the dark. And of course, just in general, keeping them overall informed of the status of their delivery when it's on a vehicle, it's assigned onto the route, it's on the way. Being able to see that customer-facing link that we send in the tracking page, the customer-facing GPS that lets you know your vehicle is 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes away and how far away it is from your location. All that stuff is really cool to just, once again, take away all that anxiety and that guesswork from the customer's end. Customer notification messaging is obviously the most ideal, but not limited to any of these industries that we listed below. I'm speaking with a bunch of people that are in the medical field, picking up and delivering medical equipment these days, things like that. And besides that, we have some, the usual suspects of the food and beverage, courier and parcel, waste management, distribution, but there's so many more industries out there that can really benefit from this, this form of communication that, just once again takes customers out of the dark. Thank you, Mike. And of course, one-way email messaging is available. It's what everybody's using for customer notifications currently within Route Manager. And of course, moving on to convenience. That's of course what we're here to do. Not that emails weren't inconvenient in a way, but of course, like we saw in your poll responses, you request text messaging these days. It's just so much more convenient. This thing is attached to your hip most of the times, 24/7 a day. And it's easy for you to check it out instead of, like Haley said, going through your email. I'm one of those people too that my personal email, things can get lost in it, and it's just really cool to have a notification that pops up on your home screen that says your order's on the way. So once again, communicating the delivery status with the initial service day notification, the almost there with the customer-facing GPS, and of course, like I said, the tracking link within the text message as well. All right. And of course, we know this is what everybody prefers, not beating the dead horse or anything like that. But like we said, these days, your smartphone is a very powerful resource for you. And of course, you could check your email, like we said, but it's just much more these days. People's expectations for communication, contactless delivery, especially with delivery being such an important piece of the world these days, and getting people their products, having that 89% of today's consumers want to receive notices through SMS. And like I said, it's the most preferred option. So once again, that convenience is at your hands now. And back to you, Mike.
Thank you so much, Yasser. And this really lines up with what all of you were thinking too. With so many people preferring text messages, and in this case, 3 to 8 times more, 89% of today's consumers do want to get some kind of message through SMS. We saw the need, of course, and we wanted to help you meet that need, to help your customers as you're delivering to them, as you're showing up to their doors. So while we do not often use these monthly sessions for product announcements, we thought that today would be a good time to do it. So because demoing SMS and messages in real time, well, that can be a little tricky, right? Because obviously to demo something like, to show you what we mean with something like live ETA, we're all sitting in our homes right now. We ain't moving. So we do have a video prepared for you. Just really short, just so you get a feel for the type of feature we're talking about. Then we're going to go through and talk about some of the features, as well as how you'll be able to set it up, which on the bright side too is very similar to how you do email today. So don't mind, just indulge us for this quick 30-second clip.
It's on mute. I think you got to click the unmute button on it. Yeah.
Like I said, it's a quick demo, right? But what you're gonna see when you're looking at the types of notifications we're gonna offer, in addition to the email, we're now going to offer one-way SMS text messaging. If you have the Route Manager 360 or 360 Plus, so that's mobile GPS enabled or hardware GPS. And the types of updates, for those of you who don't already know, the types of updates we offer are pretty straightforward. We do service day, almost there, and status update. So what those are going to be, we'll break them down, and Haley will show you how to set them up and start to show you what they look like. But a service day notification is a very simple one. It's when you dispatch your route, when you plan your route in the beginning of the day, and then when you click the button to dispatch it to send it to your driver, we are going to use that as a cue for sending a notification to your customers that their order has been planned and that they have a rough ETA. We'll show you how you can determine some of that. We also have the almost there notification. This one is the one that we imagine. You could all prove us wrong, but this is the one we imagine that most everyone will be taking advantage of. This one, what it'll do is let your customer know when your driver is almost there. And then we'll give you, again, a rough ETA that will show you how you can work with and how you can customize. Now, the really fun thing about this is that it comes with a tracking link. So that when your customers want to see where your driver is in relation to dropping the order off, you ever open up one of those food delivery apps and you're like, oh, wow, this is so cool. I can see that the driver is 5 minutes away. I can see that they're maybe they were 5 minutes away before, but now they're stuck at a red light. Well, at least I know that they're still on the way and they're just at an intersection. It's a rough intersection. That is an almost there notification. And then we also have status updates. And with status updates, maybe if the order's status changes from planned to rescheduled, or if your dispatcher has to move it around, we send a status update to the customer. Bit more interesting, of course, when your customers may expect a delivery day window versus a delivery time window. But those are the three we offer, and now we're going to be offering them through SMS. So let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty details for the SMS feature set. So number one, we're going to be starting for our customers in the US, Canada, Australia, Italy, and the UK. Additional countries will be following. We will, of course, be offering, just as I mentioned before, service day, status change, or almost there notifications. And then you can, for each one of those notifications, you can select either email or SMS. Both are available. Both types are available for any of the notifications. But to try and make sure it's a clean experience and the customers aren't getting too many notifications, you can only select one per notification type. So you can have an email on the service day, an email on the status change, and an SMS on almost there. As a matter of fact, that's probably what I'd recommend. Service day being, general information, status change, not necessarily urgent, almost there. You want that in their pocket. So you could do email, and text message. Like I mentioned before, you do need to have Route Manager 360 or Route Manager 360 Plus in order to enable this. And the live ETA option must be enabled. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Now, for anyone either on the session now or watching later, if you are in Italy or Australia, there are some stricter requirements we have to follow in order to get you SMS messaging. So you can expect that we'll have to send you some additional documentation. Now, for all of these items, when we're talking about the SMS and the text messaging features, the turnaround time, there's documentation required in order for us to get you set up. From the time that you talk to your account manager and pick your package, which they have all the details on for you. From that time onward, from the time you agree, it takes about 24 to 48 hours just to get it provisioned, and then you're up and running. Internationally, it could take up to 2 weeks just because of extra regulations internationally. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the questions pane. Now, that's all well and good. Those are packages and those are some of the basic things you need to know. Haley, how about you tell us a little bit about what it takes to get it set up, what's required, what we'd even be doing in Route Manager?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so to start off, if you have our 360 or a 360 plus, email, of course, is already included for you. Here is just a quick basic workflow of how the admin for the account, this is the main account user, the admin who can create other planners and viewers. If you are interested in SMS, once it becomes available, you will need to request the plan. The email is already there. You may already have it activated. If you decide when it becomes available, you also want SMS, we will help put you in touch where we need to get you set up with your text packaging. Second part is to set up the tracking page. Third is to set up your notification types. So with the tracking page, part of that is going to be setting up your company details, setting up your physical notifications. Then you have to compose the notifications. We'll go through that part in a little bit when we do a little quick demo. Next, just as you do now, you would need to import your orders or manually create your orders. And you need to include, if you're doing by email, we need the email address in a contact : email column. And for phone number, we would need the same thing, contact : phone. And you bring those columns in, it resides in your orders. One quick note on this part, those two columns will not transfer over to your driver. So if you want your driver to have that information as well, you will need those that information as well in custom fields. You will import your orders. You will build your routes. Your notifications can trigger. And then once the notifications are triggered, your end customer will receive the notifications, whether it is email or SMS. And now we're going to go into a little bit of a demo. We have gone over this before, but we just want to make sure everyone is on the same page for the customer notification setup within the interface. If this is not fully in place, your notifications may not be sent. So we just want to go through this one more time. And once we get Route Manager up so we can show everybody, we'll walk you through step by step. So bear with us just 1 second here.
Sorry, computer freezing a little bit. Give me a sec.
The joys of working from home.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say something silly like, oh, your computer's freezing, get it a sweater. But then I was freezing.
It's time for conference call bingo.
Don't laugh. That's a real
thing.
thing.
In the meantime, too, guys, while we're waiting to get this back up, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the question panel, and we will try to get to your question as soon as possible. Here we go. Wonderful. Thanks, Mike. Okay. So to access this, now, remember, these can only be set up by the admin. So if you are a planner or viewer, you will need to contact your admin to create this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to the double arrows in the upper right-hand side and click that to open up our additional parts of our user panel. And from here, we want to click on Settings. Once we are in Settings, we want to go over to Company Details. And in here, this is where you can set up the information that your end user will see. So you want to give the name of your company. If you have a tagline that you use in advertising or something that you want them to know it's you, you put that there. You can add in your phone number if you want them to be able to call you. You can add in your email if you want them to be able to email you. And you can also now add in email sender name. What is that? That is what your end user will see as part of the subject. Down below, you can add the actions. If you want them to be able to email you or to call you, you want to check mark these. Once you have those in place, the Update Company Details button will highlight. It's not highlighted right now because we already have this filled in, but it would highlight and you could just click it and that will save your details. Once that's all, there we go. Thanks, Mike. Once that's all in place, we want to keep this in place. You can update this information later on if you need to, but you don't want to remove any of this information. If you remove out your company details, no notifications will go out because there's nothing to send to your customers. And then if you look at the notes, the above details are also used in the tracking page. So when you are setting this up, when your customer is getting their tracking link and all of that, and of course, this is just an example, this is what they'll see. So if now you look up top, you can see the name of the company, you can see the contact information, and down below, we have the status. And also the pin drop of where the order is. Now we can start setting up our actual notifications. So we can just click on customer notifications. And here we can start choosing what we want to send. Now again, right now, email is the only option. Once SMS becomes available, you will have that option inside of both of these. One thing to remember, for example, go ahead and click edit on this for me, Mike. If we're going to set up service day, we cannot send this out to both email and text. We can only do one or the other. But to start this, what we want to do is we want to set up the time that we want our customers to receive this. So in notification time, we can enter the time in. That's the time that all customers will receive this notification. If you need it in AM, just make sure AM is highlighted. If instead you want it to go out at PM, you need to make sure that PM is highlighted. Right now we only have email. When texting becomes available, you'll have the option to choose which one you want active. And then you can include your email subject. And that can be whatever you want to put in there. There is a counter towards the right-hand side that lets you know how many characters you have available to use. Email text. This is for the body of your email. And here we have some hot words in here. And down below this area where you can enter in your text, we have what some of the hot words are. Now, what is a hot word? This is something that's going to pull data from the orders that you entered, or it's going to pull information from the planner about the order. So you can include these items using this formatting, and your end customer will see this information. So if the name is John Smith, as it's been imported, what they will see is, hello, John Smith, your order has been successfully planned. And you can change this wording to be whatever you want it to be. And again, too, we have a counter down below to let you know how much space you have left to write out your copy. And then if we move down a little bit more, for the ETA range, this is the time frame in which the order is going to occur. You have one of 4 options you can choose from. We also have an example below this. So if we are clicked on 4 hours, and let's say our planned ETA is 9:12 a.m., your customer will receive a time frame that will show that their ETA is sometime between 7:15 a.m. and 11:15 a.m. So the options you can show to your customer are 30 minutes around their planned time, 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours. Now, if you want to test this yourself, you can put in your own personal email address under the Try Your Notifications and click Send after you've entered that in, and you will receive that notification. This way you can see what it's going to look like to your customer ahead of time. Now, just remember, this does not have true order information in it. It's generic. So that pin drop is going to be in New York, and that's not going to change. This test notification is never going to have actual order information in it. It's simply for you to just be able to receive and view. After all of this is set up, you would just click Save Notification. In this case, we already had something set, so we had an update. But if we then save that, this is all good. Now, if you want to start setting up other notifications, after you've clicked Update, you can click Back. And then you can set up your other options. Oh,
sorry,
and beautiful. Mike just brought up a test. Go for it.
There we go. And here's the test list. Here's the test. Here's the name, all test information. And then if you want to just make sure, you will notice, of course, that we have an unsubscribe option at the bottom of the message. And then if I click to bring up, you'll see the same test tracking page that we had that I showed you before. But there's the test message, and then there's the test tracking page.
Perfect. And one thing to mention, when the SMS text messaging does become available, and I should have mentioned this earlier, I forgot, my bad. You will need to know country codes. We will go into that in a little bit, but you will need to follow formatting. That will be required when you're importing so that the numbers can be set correctly according to country code. If you're here in the US, that would be +1, then the area code and the 7-digit number. Other countries have different country codes. We have a +44 and many others out there. And then if you wanted to do your status update or almost there, those can be set as well. Everything's pretty self-explanatory as you go through these. For your status update, this is just to let somebody know that the status has changed. Currently, if your status changes, it could come from one of a few different actions. It could be from a driver action or from a planner or admin action in the interface. The driver action would be in the mobile app itself. And then the almost there, if you set that one up, that is set where your end customer will be notified within 10 minutes of the order arrival. It doesn't mean that it can occur directly at that 10-minute mark. These go out at 5-minute intervals. So if your driver left their last order at 9:53 a.m. and now it's 9:58 a.m. and they are 8 minutes away from their next order, your end customer will get that notification at that 8-minute mark instead of the 10-minute mark. But they will get that almost their notification between 10 minutes through 5 minutes prior to their order.
Excellent. And of course, if anyone has any questions on those bits of setup, and it's of course worth noting that some of the setup options will change a little bit with SMS coming out, as you'll see 1 or 2 more checkboxes just for what kind of links you want to have inside of it. And then of course the counter on SMS is 160 characters, including an unsubscribe link. So slightly different, but not overly different, right? So it's more similar than not. Thanks, Haley.
Thanks, Mike.
And you said you wanted to take us through the country codes as well.
Yep. So here are some country codes. We have these here since these are the countries we are starting with. So for Australia, the country code is 061. For Canada, it is 001. Italy, 039. United Kingdom, 044. United States, 001. So these are what will be needed. Again, we will make sure to have formatting listing in our templates, as well as we will have little tips in the interface itself about formatting.
Excellent. So that's the feature set, right? We are very confident in saying that you should have this by mid-June, but in order to help us get there, there is nothing like having feedback about how the feature currently works. So
Mhm.
Nicole, why don't you tell us a little bit about how everyone here, since we definitely want to make sure that anyone who's attending our workshops has first crack at a few different things. Let them
Yeah,
know how they can give us feedback, not only about SMS, but also about any of our features.
sure, absolutely. Thank you, Mike. So obviously, this is definitely an exciting feature, but with every new feature that we launch, we love to get your beta testing. So if any of you are interested, if you have 360 or 360 plus, you're currently a customer with those packages, please let us know if you're interested in doing the beta testing for us. We're going to do a post-show survey that is going to come pretty shortly after the workshop concludes. And you can just go ahead and let us know that you are indeed interested, or you could even submit it in the questions plane or something like that. So yeah, I hope that we have a lot of you that are interested in participating in that. And then,
Yes, as do we.
and then from like a general standpoint, if you would like to, on an ongoing basis, be a part of our feedback board, to go ahead and give us insight or your input on features, designs, any type of feedback you want to provide, and you get early access to test any of our prototypes, a new design, so on and so forth. We'd like for you to let us know if you're interested in that. So same thing, if you can just go into the questions pane and just let us know if you're interested and leave us with your email address, that would be great. We'll quickly follow up with you.
Very good.
Very good.
All
Yep,
right. So let's
in
talk a little.
addition,
So Nicole, you wanted to tell us a little bit about the resources available to everyone too, right?
yeah, exactly. So now more than ever, we wanted to arm you guys, our customers, with as many tools as possible to kind of help navigate through things. So on our website, we have a couple of resources that we wanted to make available to you. So one is a COVID-19 specific resource page. And we also launched about a month ago a Facebook field service page where you can have access to additional resources or materials, or just have camaraderie with other field service professionals. And then, as always, we have lots of blogs that we put on our insights page, and we would love for you to take advantage of any of these tools that we have. And with the next slide, Mike, you can just go on to that. We have at the end of our workshops, we usually send you a post-show email. So I just wanted to reinforce that you will get a recording or a link to our go-to stage page where we have all of our recordings housed there, but we'll also have this latest recording on there as well. We have a special offer that's available to our customers, especially if you do not at this time have Route Manager 360 or 360 Plus and would like to try it. There's an offer that is available for you. And there's also a link to the resources that I just mentioned, that the previous slide that Mike had up. So just wanted to reinforce all of that for you guys to utilize and have as a helpful, we hope, helpful tool to help you through, to just navigate through everything.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. I clicked a little too fast there. All right.
That's okay.
So, all right, we actually are making good time. Kind of shocking for us. All right. So, like we mentioned before, if you're interested in the feedback board, toss it in the questions pane. Also, put your questions there. We have a few that were queued up, so we're going to answer them. Some of them, I think, Haley or Yasser may have been answering in chat, but they are good questions, and we're going to want to answer them out in front too. If we don't get to your question, we will follow up with you, or if it was a bit more of a specific workflow question, we may follow up after. Then, of course, as Nicole had mentioned, if you're interested in helping us test the SMS feature, just stay tuned after the session and a survey will launch where you'll have a chance to indicate your interest. All right, you guys ready for some Q&A?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And all right, this question, we got a few versions of this for a few of you. So we'll do Danielle's. And Danielle's question was, can a customer reply to the email or the text? The answer to that one is that this is one-way messaging. So this goes from Route Manager to your customer. And if you need them to respond back in any way, you'd want to include your contact information, which our tracking link does do. And you can also put it in your email or the text message. Then that was a question that was similar to Brian's as well. And then we also had a question come in from Stephen. Security is a concern for my industry, as it should be. I prefer not showing a live location of our delivery team. Can the tracking link be omitted? So Haley, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So at this time, the tracking link is included. However, if you submit a support ticket to us, we'll be sure to enter a feature consideration to our engineering team for you on this.
Excellent, and that is something that was on our short-term plans for the future as well, because we know that you wouldn't always want that to be included. So like Haley said, if you put that in, we can record your vote. And then this question also comes in from Stephen. Can our company's contact email and phone number be changed depending on the depot of the vehicle? If not, can it be changed depending on the territory? So the contact information is set at the account level. Am I right, Haley?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, the contact information for all of that is set at the account level, not the depot or the territory level. But again, that is something that I believe someone on our team had brought up too. So if you want to include that, we'll parse it out so that our development team and our product team can consider that in the future. And then this question comes in from Emily. So where is the dispatch message function? So if I'm understanding that correctly, you're talking about the
service day?
Maybe the service day. But Yasser, you want to take that if that's the case?
If it's the service day notification, I believe the question came from Emily, if I'm correct. That is going to be the notification time on the service day, which is the first of the 3 phases within the customer notifications, Emily. So you just specify the time. And for text, the second that the route is dispatched, it will go out.
So depending on how we want to read that, and you can by all means send in if you want to clarify a bit more if we're getting it wrong. There is no button to actually just dispatch messages. It's all automatic based on the timing you set up and what message notification types you have. Then we had Claire. She asked about sending without the tracking link. So again, just kind of like Haley said, just note your feedback in a support ticket, and we'll get it sent over. Although actually, you know what, Haley, I think we have all of everyone's information for both Stephen and Claire. We can just do it when we wrap up the notes for this. What do you think? We don't need to make them submit a support ticket, right?
Sure.
And then, okay, so then we've got Danielle asked, what happens if they do respond to a text or an email? So what happens when a customer responds to one of our one-way messages? Sorry, Haley, you want to take that?
Sure. So when they do respond, instead of sending communication through the means you've provided to them, it actually comes to a no reply mailbox. So if your question is, are you going to receive notification? No. It is a no reply email that is being sent to them. I can look into that further for you, Danielle, but right now we don't have a way of sending those back to you in terms of, let's say, bounced emails or people who have responded to the no reply.
Excellent. So again, as always, if we misunderstood, just let us know. And then Fahir asks, almost there notification, does it work depending on live data or planned time? Yasser, you want to take that one?
The almost there notification, it does work off of live ETA. Is that Fahir's question?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So he's asking almost there notification works on. Yeah. It does depend on the actual location. That's how it decides if you're 10 minutes or less away on those 5-minute intervals, that update that Haley mentioned. So it does depend on your live location, Fahir.
And that's what we were talking about a little bit before. To enable that feature, there's something we have to turn on for you. So if that specifically, if you're looking for that to work off of their live versus planned ETA, you just have to let us know, and we will turn it on for you. This question comes in from Laura. Laura wants to know, will WorkWave let us know if the phone number was incorrectly entered like it does with the delivery address? And actually, I'm not sure. Did Haley or Yasser, do you remember? If not, then we can certainly ask.
So it'll check for formatting, but it won't alert to an invalid number or an invalid email.
Perfect. Okay. So formatting, yes. Wrong number, no. And this question actually branches off of that. This one comes in from Eric. If a landline phone number is included for an order, will the planner be notified that the text message could not be delivered? The answer for that one would be no. An interesting follow-up question for us there is that landlines are actually able to be text messaged. It's a feature that you can enable on the receiver side. And my best guess, and I'm only 51% on this one, is that we'll just send the text message because landlines can accept them and they'll actually read it out. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it is.
And then this question comes in from Stephen. How specific is the accuracy of the tracking link? Does it show exact location or approximate? So it is an approximate location, but considering that we're talking about we are talking because of how often it's actually going to update, it's approximate. But since we are talking about you're 5 to 10 minutes away, it's pretty near live on that one. So approximate, yes, but it'll be pretty specific, all things considered, between GPS and cell towers. Haley, I don't know if there's any other detail that you know about that you'd like to add.
So in terms of how often will the tracking update as well, since this works off of the device that your driver is logged into, basically that pings every 2 to 5 minutes. So when we were talking about the almost there, that's why we have that 5-minute buffer for the almost there to provide the tracking and the ping that, they're within that time range to arrive to your address. So that's one thing to consider. The live tracking link, while yes, it is live, there are still time frames that are included within that. So you're looking at 2 to 5 minute difference on that.
Great. And then we had a question from, there's so many questions. This is wonderful. We'll keep going as long as you all want to. The question came in from Emily was clarifying on her previous question, which you remember, which was how are the SMS or how are the messages dispatched? She said there was discussion about how a message will go out when you dispatch routes. So specifically what we're talking about there is there's the blue dispatch button. When you click that, that's the button that dispatches routes to the mobile app, and that's also our trigger to kick off any notifications for service day. That also lets Route Manager know that the status change notifications and or live ETA almost there notifications, sorry, are eligible to go out depending on your settings. And then Rebecca asks, can service day just be sent at a scheduled time rather than when the route is dispatched? We dispatch routes a day before, and we wouldn't want the okay. So if we weren't clear, that's our fault. The service day notifications are for the day of. So if you dispatch a route, if you dispatch your route for tomorrow, you do that at 4 p.m. today. We're not going to send a notification. We'll be extra clear about that. The notifications don't go out to the day of the notification. So it's always the time of the day of service. So
and
sorry.
The time that you set on the service day notification is when it gets fired off, even if you pre-dispatch it the day before. Sorry for that, Mike.
Oh, no worries. We were We all looked over this presentation like 5 times. That's a good question. All right, and then the Yasser, if you want to take this one, is there a required format for the phone number?
For US, Emily, that's going to be +1, and then the area code, and then the 7 digits, like Haley mentioned earlier. Okay, for international, like Nicole shared on that one slide, and she explained, will be hopefully you'll be able to view those additional ones for international users, UK, Australia, Italy, and so on. You'll see that within the recording, those specific country codes. But for the US, Emily, it's just +1, area code, 7 digits.
And then do we need to have and I think to getting to Emily's question there too, is there a need for any parentheses or dashes, or or can we just do the 7 digits?
No, I think no dashes, I believe. Correct, Haley?
Correct.
Notice we all just default to Haley when we're not sure. We should probably just let Haley do everything. All right, cool. All right, question-wise, so this question came in from Dave. Hey, Dave. Had an IT emergency here, but still want to see info. Nicole, how long before the recording will be posted of this session?
Early next week. And I'm not talking about Monday, because here, Monday, we're not going to be deploying anything in honor of Memorial Day. So I would say Tuesday, no later than.
All right. Okay, and then here we go. So Emily, one follow-up question here, and then we'll cut it out so that everyone has a chance to go about their day, but also sign up for indicate interest in the beta program. Emily asked one follow-up question, but what if the customer entered 123? So she's speaking about what happens if a customer is entering in their phone number. So what I would say to that is that, yeah, no one can see it, but it's 123 parentheses 123-3456. That would result in an error for a few reasons. Number one, there's dashes in it. And then number two, there's no country code. So what I would suggest is that you're not really going to be doing a direct input from a customer's form fill, right, into Route Manager. What you would need to do is you have to have something in the middle that converts the format into something we can accept. So just the 7 digits plus a country code. So it would be 1-888-448-5197. No extra anything, no pluses, no parentheses, no dashes, just the numbers and a country code. So a 7-digit phone number for the US plus the country code. Excellent. We'll leave it open for just like another 20 or 30 seconds just to make sure everyone's good. Then we'll close it out, and then you'll have a chance to sign on for the reply to the survey and indicate interest in the beta testing program for SMS.
All right.
All right. Well, that's coming in. So we'll just let it go. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around, because now I know you're interested in the beta program. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Yasser. Thank you for joining and presenting today. And then we'll hope to see you all next month for our next session.
Thank you all so much.
Stay safe. Bye.